You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
It's 8 o'clock. Breakfast is being served at Ellen's downtown.
Hello, I'm Jordan Hicks, and this is your Spectrum News in 90. A Dallas court will hear oral arguments in September over the state bar's ethics case against suspended Attorney General Ken Paxton. Paxton was sued by the State Bar of Texas, accusing him of bringing a, quote, dishonest lawsuit challenging the results of the 2020 presidential election. If Paxton loses, he could be disbarred, suspended. The U.S. is setting a grim milestone. From January to June, the nation saw 28 mass killings, all but one of which involved guns. In the last 181 days, 140 people have been killed. The previous record of 27 mass killings was set in the second half of 2022. And the Biden administration is forgiving $39 billion in student loans. Just over 800,000 people will automatically have their debt wiped away in the coming weeks. With fixes to repayment plans, borrowers will get any remaining debt canceled after making payments for 20 or 25 years.
Still very hot as we start the weekend, but a cold front will be nearby both Saturday and Sunday and could be the focal point for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. If any storms develop on Saturday, they'd be likely south of I-20 late day, but some storms early morning Sunday means more heat relief. Highs only in the 90s. Then we're back over 100 on Monday and even hotter by the middle of the week.
Hello, thank you for joining us here on Spectrum News 1. I'm Todd Boatwright. Well, it's now been more than 2 months since a gunman killed 8 people at a mall in Allen, Texas. And today we're hearing more from one of the survivors of that shooting. Our Michael Lozano sat down with Irvin Walker and has his story.
Does it, 2 months later, what goes through your mind? Does it feel real? What happened?
Does it feel real? Yes. Still trying to acclimate back into what I thought was a normal life.
It's been 2 months, but the sounds and bullet wounds are still fresh.
Never in a day I ever thought I would be impacted by a shooter.
On May 6th, Irvin Walker was looking for parking at the Allen Premium Outlets after dropping off his girlfriend.
The impact of bullets, the glass, everything just happened quickly. I had no idea where it was coming from.
It was the gunman opening fire on Irvin's car.
I actually accidentally put it in neutral. And then I hit you hit the accelerator in neutral. That's what it'll do. Then I went into drive, and that's where the car moved forward. After that, I got out the car running for help.
First he hid, then he realized he was bleeding and needed to get some help.
The police officer brought his car up. I got in the back of his car. He brought me to the perimeter.
Once he got to a nearby hospital, Irvin underwent 2 surgeries for gunshots to his arm, chest, and face.
I wasn't scared when someone shot me. So I know there was a higher power leading me, guiding me, and protecting me.
In every single minute of this nightmare.
But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are. Right? When I decided to go ahead and hide in the store dressing room, I was confessing it.
He even prayed for the hospital staff, knowing they were about to go through their own traumatic experience.
Get to the hospital embraced by a lot of scared faces, right? Because it's traumatic to the community.
Now he's working to heal his body, mind, and spirit.
A lot of things come in my mind, like, could I survive another one of these? Should I eliminate the possibility of that happening? Okay, I'll stay home.
He's due for more doctor's appointments and still has bullet shrapnel in his body.
How are you feeling physically?
Physically, I have days that are not so good, where maybe shrapnel may be penetrating my skin, coming out. May have a day where my shoulder's stiff.
But he's facing it all with a smile.
I don't know how people can withstand life. And this with all the crises that we deal with without a higher power to lead you and guide you.
2 months later.
145, I think we got shots fired at the outlet mall. Get good, get moving!
And Irvin still isn't ready to see this body cam footage, but he's thankful for the officer's swift action in stopping the gunman. He's also overwhelmed by the outpouring of support.
Like during this process, I've been receiving love from, I didn't know I impacted you that way, you know? Brings a little tear in my eyes, you know, like, gosh, I didn't know, little old me, I impacted you like that, you know? So it feels great.
While Irvin is more cautious about where he goes out, he's wanting to move his life forward on a foundation of love.
And by his stripes, we are healed.
Keeping Isaiah Fifths to his heart.
Well, we are still feeling it. It's been another scorching week of Texas heat, the latest in a record-breaking start to the summer across the state. Dylan Scott has more on the dangers this heat can bring.
We're here on the eastern Pacific Ocean and starts strengthening and gets the central Pacific also warm.
For nearly a decade, climate scientist Tianyi Sun has been working to find solutions to one of the world's biggest problems.
Here in Texas, we are known for our hot summers, but now our summers are getting a boost from climate change.
A member of the Environmental Defense Fund in Austin, her team is combating this reality.
Things will get much worse if we don't address the cause of the problem.
That reality is that from July 3rd to the 6th of this year, the planet was hotter than it has ever been, at least since scientists began recording, according to the University of Maine.
So for decades and decades, we're extracting and burning fossil fuels for energy that release too much greenhouse gas into the atmosphere. They act like this blanket over our planet, so our planet is warming faster than ever recorded.
Heat is like a hurricane.
Combined with an El Nino event, the results have been deadly. The CDC reports here in Texas more than a dozen people have already died from heat-related illnesses, and ER visits are up almost 200 per 100,000 patients. A dangerous trend to monitor, says UT geosciences professor Devni Yogi.
Heat is here. It has impact on humans. It has an impact on our physiology. It affects our well-being, and we need to take care of ourselves.
And it's not just the heat, but this extreme weather too, that both say are a direct.
And flooding, prolonged droughts, worsening wildfires, these are all fueled by a warming planet.
Luckily, there is some good news. Scientists like Sun are working around the clock in Texas and across the globe, creating alternate energy solutions such as wind, solar, electric, and hydrogen to mitigate further damage.
I'm very optimistic. Reversing the warming trend might be hard, but what we can do is to slow it down significantly in the next decade.
Hey, coming up, what's 100-degree temps in Texas when you've got Halloween on the mind all year? Meet an artist carving out quite the career next. And later, Spectrum News 1 is taking a deep dive into the Texas power grid. We'll go into its history and what's being done to make sure your lights stay on. Keep it here.
Stay connected to Spectrum News 1 with the Spectrum News app. Stream your trusted team live on the go or from home. And stay updated on the local news and weather forecasts that matter to you. Spectrum News, your community connection. Weather can be beautiful and at times powerful. Our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News 1.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Texas holds a very special place in both my heart and my family's heart as well. My dad started in the news business in 1955, so my dad was my idol. He was my mentor. I spent so much time in that world. I knew I just had to be a part of it. My life's purpose has been about informing, connecting with people. It has been my passion to help people and make a difference in people's lives. I'm Brett Shipp, anchor, Spectrum News 1.
Hey there, meteorologist Emily Borchard here on Spectrum News 1. Check out the clouds late Friday morning into the early afternoon. We had a good deal of cloud cover in place, but even with mostly cloudy skies, we still had triple-digit heat, believe it or not. So now the triple-digit count for DFW up to 9 for the year so far, and we will continue to add to this count as we head into Saturday. But it looks like we may get a break on Sunday, and then it gets even hotter. I think we will exceed the hottest ever on record for DFW. That was 113. Not in the very hot year we know, 2011. It happened twice, June 26th and 27th. In 1980. So again, looking ahead into next week, why is it going to get hotter and why are we talking about a rain chance this weekend? Well, we've got a cold front moving into North Texas this weekend because high pressure is centered off to the west. So that's why we've got that potential for rain and storms, but high pressure moves east and back towards the Lone Star State by Tuesday, Wednesday. That's going to shut off storm and rain chances and deliver even hotter temperatures. So again, one break it looks like in the triple-digit heat on Sunday, and then we are back over 100 Monday, I think as hot as 107 by Wednesday, looking like the peak of this next heat wave. So timing out storms here for your Saturday, it looks like along and south of I-20 into the late day. We may see some isolated storms from about 4 o'clock to Sunday, and then into our Sunday morning, showers along north of I-20 developing around 5 a.m. pushing eastward, wrapping up it looks like by the early afternoon. So gusty winds, maybe some heavy downpours are concerned with some of those storms. Get ready for the heat wave. We get a break Sunday as hot as 107 on Wednesday.
We know how hot these Texas summers can be. That doesn't matter, though, to one artist who's picking pumpkins and carving a niche for herself at the same time, way before Halloween. It's 100 degrees on this July day in Temple, Texas. At least one pumpkin is right for the taking. Christina Patnaud just picked her own pumpkins from leftover gourds last October. Little did she know the ones she tossed out would start sprouting.
This year, I got lucky enough to have a pretty great yield of summer pumpkins.
Lucky for Christina, since she's a professional pumpkin carver.
In this heat, honestly, they really wouldn't last very long, so it's better to just make good use of them and get them carved.
And get in some good practice, too. With the precision of a surgeon, Christina makes cuts in this flesh to make a face. Come fall, her skills are on full display at Pumpkin Nights in Austin. It's a Halloween-themed family festival.
It'll be really wonderful for people to come to the event and see all of the pumpkins everyone has grown, see them being carved, you know, all the creations we make out of them.
Christina's own creations were front and center a couple of years ago.
When the Food Network called me when they saw my pumpkins, it was really, really exciting.
Right now I'm hacking up these gourds.
She was a finalist on the show Outrageous Pumpkins.
You're in the gauntlet, it's do or die. You know, an art form like pumpkin carving, people don't even realize if it's a real thing. And now I've been able to make a whole career out of it. And it really goes to show you that you never know what might be possible with the type of art that you make.
Honing her skills even when it's hot. On this day, it got up to 106 degrees outside. But Christina's looking ahead to Halloween, carving even greater gourds and putting a face to her favorite fruit. Well, for the first time ever, scientists say they found fossils of a Jurassic sea creature right here in Texas. Veronica Barriga introduces us to the researchers behind this landmark discovery.
Got it up there?
Yeah, it's on there.
You can see we're kind of running out of space on the shelves. People find a lot.
Jackson School of Geosciences, Museum of Earth History, where a variety of ancient artifacts are preserved.
250,000 catalog specimens.
Steve May is a lead researcher at the university.
We have lots of fossil things like this clam, the Jurassic, from the Malone Formation. So lots of marine invertebrate life, ammonites, snails, clams.
But Steve was on a mission to find more. In 2016, Steve led Kenneth and a team of geoscientists on a hunt for ancient traces of larger life in the Malone Mountains.
And then I ran across this one little line here, contains large bone fragments. That was in this 1938 paper, and it was that phrase which said, this is where we gotta go. We gotta go look at the Malone Mountains.
The crew trekked up a rough terrain in West Texas.
And you can see Kenny
coming across Jurassic age marine life vertebrae, marking the first time these type of bones have been uncovered in the state of Texas.
And this piece here is, it sits on here like this. This is the, it's called a neural arch. The spinal cord would go down through.
A study of the fossils published in 2023 says the bones likely belong to a plesiosaur, the marine reptile shown here.
It's a big deal just because throughout Texas history, we've always taught students that there are no Jurassic vertebrates from Texas. We don't have a record of what vertebrate life looked like in the Jurassic in Texas. And now we're beginning to open up that story because of the work in the Malone Mountains.
A story that Kenneth says is only at the beginning stages.
That we found some bones, it makes me want to keep going back over and over and try to find a skeleton. And maybe someday we'll be able to do that.
Tons of ancient discoveries, including mammoth bones and teeth, which are most commonly found in northern parts of the state. Last year, even more dinosaur tracks were discovered near Glen Rose, south of Fort Worth, after the drought dried up the riverbeds. The peso is gaining ground on the dollar. That's making a big difference at the border. We'll take a closer look at that next.
We are heading into the weekend with more triple-digit heat across most of Texas. A few exceptions will be the Panhandle, some 80s and 90s there, parts of far west Texas like Marfa, Alpine, and along our Texas coast, some upper 90s. But when you factor in the humidity, it will feel as high as 110 along and east of that 35 corridor, pretty much 35 to the coast. So please plan those outdoor activities accordingly. More news and weather coming up.
16 teams, 15 grand. One tournament to decide who knows the most about separating news fact from news fiction. 1, 2, 3, that is correct, Jacob. The Spectrum News Challenge Tournament.
That sounds really awesome, man.
If you think you know the news, then it's time to take the challenge. Spectrum News Challenge, Wednesday nights at 8:30. Available on all your favorite devices.
When you buy Spectrum Mobile for just $29.99 a month, you get a second line for free. So get one line for yourself and a free line for your devoted friend. Or you can get one line for yourself and one line for your kid.
Sold.
Or both lines for yourself. I use one for business and another for business. I do a lot of business. Get one line of unlimited for $29 store today.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
We have one mission, and that is to serve our community.
Our goal with Spectrum News 1 is to tell people's stories. We're telling a person's story in a way that's relatable to who they are.
It's my responsibility to know the issues here in Texas, but also, more importantly, to know who it affects.
We want to make sure that you know what's going on in politics and weather and entertainment. You're going to get storytelling about your local community. Your evening starting at 5 p.m. Central.
With student loan payments set to resume soon, the Biden administration is rolling out a new repayment plan aimed at easing the repayment process. The SAVE plan will allow certain borrowers to have their monthly payments set to $0 depending on their income, and additionally, anyone who borrowed $12,000 of monthly payments. Meanwhile, inflation seems to be cooling down. The Labor Department says it dipped to 3% last month. That's the lowest it's been in more than 2 years. But prices are still higher than the Fed's 2% annual target rate, which does mean more interest rate hikes could be on the way. Well, the Airbnb market is starting to see its own economic issues with a drop in bookings over the last year. But not everyone is sounding the alarm just yet. Michael Lozano shows us.
We've seen the reports and we've seen the social media posts circulating about the potential of an Airbnb market crash. But one realtor we spoke to here in North Texas tells us that there's more to those numbers and that the sky isn't exactly falling just yet.
Getting that guest ready for the next group.
Allen resident Pita Castillo manages a couple of Airbnbs in South Padre.
Towards the end of COVID,
bookings have slowed down.
Changes also to our cancellation policy, making it a little bit more flexible for people to plan their trip.
It's a decline Airbnb owners are seeing nationwide.
The Airbnb crash is ravaging Airbnb owners around America.
The Airbnb collapse is real. And it's here.
A recent string of social media posts are leaving many worried of an Airbnb collapse. Some are citing data from a rental analysis site known as All the Rooms. The report shows major U.S. cities are seeing a more than 30% drop in revenue per available listing from 2022 to 2023, with places like Austin and San Antonio dropping 46 and 43% respectively.
Michelle, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
But longtime North Texas realtor Cliff Freeman says those numbers are wrong.
Are they doing this to sensationalize and get more business on YouTube, or is there really, meat on the bone here?
While there has been a drop, cites a more accurate source in AirDNA data. Those numbers only reveal a 7% drop for Austin and 4% drop for San Antonio.
I certainly wouldn't take the position that the sky is going to be falling.
It's a decline Freeman says is in part thanks to the post-pandemic era, with many Texans looking to travel abroad.
People now are spending the big bucks to go and take the big trips, which may not be in some of the secondary markets.
And with the strong housing market, Freeman isn't worried about any sort of collapse.
Hi, Michael. Welcome.
It's a hopeful outlook.
I don't think that is something to worry about at this time.
Especially for those who oversee Airbnbs like Pita.
Well, every year, millions of people travel from Mexico to Texas, and right now the peso is gaining buying power on the U.S. dollar, and it's something businesses along the border say is bringing in more customers. Adolfo Muniz tells us more about the super peso.
Decades, the Mexican peso has been gaining ground against the U.S. dollar. That has some benefits for the border. In theory, Mexicans now have more dollars for their peso to come and spend right here in McAllen. It was during the week of the 4th of July, and in McAllen there were so many sales downtown that Sandra from Reynosa, Mexico was just loving it. But what she's loving even more is the stronger peso against the U.S. dollar.
Para mí sí es importante, ganando en pesos para nosotros es magnífico y nos sirve para venir de compras más fácil.
It is hard to believe, but the price is right there. The dollar has dipped below 17 pesos from the about 20 it usually had. And during the pandemic, it even reached 25. This is the super peso, and it's a huge difference for the Mexican consumer.
Para nosotros se nos hacen unos precios súper económicos. Como un perfume que te sale 200 pesos, te sale mucho mejor, más barato, ya no te salen 400, ya te puede salir a como en 300.
The super peso should be a very good thing for the businesses on the American side of the border. But for the president of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, the impact is not as high as expected, and there is a word of caution.
The peso is getting stronger, but we're still seeing the same amount of activity of Mexican consumers coming into the U.S., specifically McAllen. So we still consider to see that upgoing trend, but just like everything else, we do expect it to taper off or to at least plateau.
For Anna, the owner of a clothing store downtown, there's been a difference she can see. But it's a small difference. The peso's new power has yet to come to her store, but she's still hopeful.
Pues que hay como más gente pues que viene de Reynosa, de Monterrey y así. Pues ahora sí que pues nos vaya bien a todos como quien dicen.
The coin has always two sides. American factories in Mexico, like the one Sandra works for, now need more dollars for payroll. But Sandra just wants the peso to keep it up, or at least to stay like this.
A thriving community is an informed role in bringing people the news is something that I take very seriously. There's just so many things to love about the state of Texas. Southern hospitality, great food. I love that there are so many different cultures celebrated. I want people to turn us on in the morning and feel like they've got the information they need to go out and conquer their day. I'm Alex Stockwell, anchor for Spectrum News 1.
With Spectrum Mobile, your mobile speeds are already amazingly fast, but now they've developed Speed Boost. And it's only possible because Spectrum Internet, Advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile all work together. It's like speed on top of speed on top of speed, or like taking a shot of espresso, like this one. Woo! And chugging an energy drink. Yeah! And then being shot out of a cannon. Let's light this candle. Change my mind. Change my mind, change my mind. Get fast speeds on your mobile devices with Speed Boost, only from Spectrum Mobile.
I cannot set you free. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
We are connected, engaged, from the moment we rise. We move. We adjust. We learn, explore, relax, and grow together so we're ready to build a better tomorrow. Stay informed throughout your day with the Spectrum News app, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Weather on the Ones, every 10 minutes. Also available on the Spectrum News app.
Good evening, Dallas-Fort Worth. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. The Dallas and Arlington police departments are mourning the loss of former Chief David Kunkel. He led the Arlington Police Department from 1985 to 1999, and then Dallas PD from 2004 to 2010. Officers with North Richland Hills worked to free a dog that got stuck under a shed. Roxy, a 95-pound Rottweiler, chased a possum under the shed and couldn't get out. Officers Sanders and Allday worked for 30 minutes, sawed through the floor of the shed, and got Roxy out. She was not injured. And if you were expecting an Amazon package today and it didn't arrive, this might be why. An Amazon delivery truck was involved in a crash in Watauga today. No word on any injuries or what. Let's get a check of your hyperlocal Dallas-Fort Worth forecast and your weather on the ones. Our hour-by-hour forecast takes our temperatures from 88 degrees at 10 a.m. all the way up to near 100 degrees as we approach 3 o'clock, 102 by 4, 100 degrees by 6, all under mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Heat index values as high as 105 to 110 degrees. Coming up here at 41 after, we'll have a look at that extended 7-day forecast.
As we get into the dog days of summer, keeping the lights on and the air conditioner running is top of mind. Even with several improvements, some people still question whether an aging infrastructure can power a state that's 30 million strong and growing. Here's our Brett Shipp with more.
It was the worst winter storm in years. The mercury dipped into the teens. The grid sputtered. Rolling blackouts brought misery to 3 million Texans. And our independently operated power grid couldn't handle extremely cold weather. State officials were warned to fix the grid or it would happen again. The warning was ignored. On Valentine's Day 2021, a more powerful polar vortex invaded the state, plunging temperatures into the single digits. Major portions of the power grid crashed. Half the state's power plant generation went down. For the following week, millions went without heat and electricity. Hundreds died. The physical and emotional trauma inflicted on Texans may forever change how we look at the grid, the creature comforts we used to take for granted during extreme winter weather when the summer sun starts to bake. State lawmakers and power grid officials scrambled to adopt numerous reforms, insulating and weatherizing power plants and natural gas delivery systems. On July 20th of last year, the summer grid was put to the test. Texans shattered an old record using around 80,000 megawatts of power. The grid bent, but did not break. This summer, we've already broken that record. And while the Blue Peak demand curve seen here is now routinely up around 80,000 megawatts, the daily predicted availability of power is up near 100,000 megawatts.
If you actually add up all the nameplate capacity of power plants we have, it's actually closer to 120.
UT Energy. He says while energy appears to be in greater supply, aging infrastructure and unwillingness to invest in new power plants will soon become a problem.
One of the things we've been doing differently since Winter Storm Uri is we have been operating the grid at a more conservative and more conservative posture, meaning we've been holding more of these power plants or running these power plants more often than economically necessary to do so, or for reliability purposes. And I think that's put extra wear and tear on the system. Just like, the more miles you have on a car, the more likely it is for something to break.
And that's the fear from energy experts all across the state.
I think we're going to be okay this summer, but the trends are not great. We're growing. People want to move to Texas. They want to turn their air conditioners on. And we're going to have to figure out a way to provide more power and more reliable power when we need it.
Lee has written extensively about the failures of state officials to invest in the infrastructure needed to competently supply more power generation. He says the weakest link is in the delivery of natural gas during extremely cold and hot weather. Spectrum News reported during the recent record-setting heat wave, numerous gas processing and delivery systems failed, and the grid lost up to 10,000 megawatts from the system.
They've had months to prepare.
That's why another energy reporter, Chris Tomlinson of the Houston Chronicle, says the state needs to enhance development of wind and solar. While both provide an intermittent supply of power, it's a cheap and infinite supply of power.
The goal really is to provide the cheapest electricity possible to Texans. And so most of the time that's going to come, still going to need natural gas and coal and nuclear to some extent to back that up. But that's what those fossil fuels should be for, is backup, not for our everyday power.
Well, pickleball continues to be a big hit across Texas, and now there's a new court opening in Dallas that's helping players soar. Ashley Claster gives us a closer look.
Okay, 591.
I will never get sick of this view. This view sells itself.
As soon as you step off the elevator of Tower Club Dallas, you can see the floor-to-ceiling windows.
So you are currently looking at the tallest pickleball court in the world. We are 48 floors above downtown Dallas with spectacular views. So you are partaking in the views of downtown Dallas in all of its glory.
Tower Club Dallas is hosting this on a limited basis during the month of July.
And this is just one example of thinking outside of the box and doing something that no one else is doing.
Whoa. So we just thought we would try it out. We heard about it, and we wanted to be part of the world's highest pickleball court. So we just came for the day.
Brenda Peinado came with her friends from the country club.
Oh, good shot. The view's outstanding. It's really great to see some things that you see at ground level, just to see up in the sky. It's a beautiful day. So it's just really a privilege to be in downtown Dallas and have such a great day.
The money she's spending at pickleball today means something.
So we are donating a portion of all of our revenue to Bonton Farms.
That's an urban farm located in South Dallas.
For their groceries, and it is now someplace where reformed inmates can go to change their life, to make their life better.
48 floors up, the fastest growing sport is now getting taller.
Now I'm feeling the heat. How about you?
Yeah, just don't break a window. Coming up, we'll introduce you to a Texas business owner getting starting young. Her story after the break. Plus, we're well into the summer travel season, but a heads up if you're planning to fly overseas, getting your passport could take a while. We'll explain.
I am most satisfied when I'm making a difference. I get to go to work every day, and the choices we make matter. And if they can trust me to share important information with them, then I'm a happy camper.
I'm Dr. Nicole Cross, anchor for Spectrum News 1.
From coast to coast, you've seen us around. We live and work in the communities we serve. Our commitment runs deep. We're invested here, creating good jobs and supporting small businesses, many of which we're proud to call customers. You count on us to keep you connected to what matters most. And we're committed to delivering you the best internet, TV, and mobile service. We're Spectrum, connecting the places we all call home.
When I first saw Turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure
love.
Weather can be beautiful, inconvenient, and at times powerful. And it affects everything we do. At Spectrum News 1, our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. We're the calm in the storm, Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News 1. And get your weather anytime on the Spectrum News app.
here on Spectrum News 1. Check out the clouds late Friday morning into the early afternoon. We had a good deal of cloud cover in place, but even with mostly cloudy skies, we still had triple-digit heat, believe it or not. So now the triple-digit count for DFW up to 9 for the year so far, and we will continue to add to this count as we head into Saturday. But it looks like we may get a break on Sunday, and then it gets even hotter. I think we will exceed the hottest we've been so far this year, which was on Wednesday afternoon, 105 at DFW. And if you're wondering what is the hottest ever on record for DFW, that was 113. Not in the very hot year we know, 2011. It happened twice, June 26th and 27th. In 1980. So again, looking ahead into next week, why is it going to get hotter and why are we talking about a rain chance this weekend? Well, we've got a cold front moving into Nortex this weekend because high pressure is centered off to that potential for rain and storms, but high pressure moves east and back towards the Lone Star State by Tuesday, Wednesday. That's going to shut off storm and rain chances and deliver even hotter temperatures. So again, one break it looks like in the triple-digit heat on Sunday, and then we are back over 100 Monday. I think as hot as 107 by Wednesday, looking like the peak of this next heat wave. So timing out storms here for your Saturday, it looks like along and south of I-20 into the late day. We may see some isolated storms from about 4 o'clock to sunset pushing southward. And then into our Sunday morning, showers along north of I-20, developing around 5 a.m., pushing eastward, wrapping up, it looks like, by the early afternoon. So gusty winds, maybe some heavy downpours are concerned with some of those storms. Get ready for the heat wave. We get a break Sunday as hot as 107 on Wednesday.
Well, kids are out of school and need a place to play. The Profit is hoping to bring the fun to deaf children in their community.
Emma Faye Rudkin is building her dream. She's the founder and director of Aid the Silent, a nonprofit that provides resources to deaf and hard of hearing children. Her organization recently received a $140,000 grant to build a deaf accessible playground for kids.
They knew we were going to renovate, but they didn't know the playground would be first. So I'm happy that we can do the playground first, because that's what makes life more fun, is being able to play.
She takes her job seriously. It's personal. Emma went profoundly deaf at the age of 3. She says the playground was a place that was difficult to navigate.
They would play a game called Double Dutch, where they would sing songs and jump ropes, and what ended up happening was I couldn't hear the words for an entire year, my 5th grade year.
Even the playground itself posed challenges.
There's something called a cochlear implant that's on the outside of the head, and we were reading a lot of how static electricity can actually wipe out some of that programming, so that's why plastic slides aren't really great for deaf kids.
Emma's vision to build a playground that won't interfere with implants. The goal is to have it ready by November. Emma says this isn't just a playground, it is a place to build community.
About 70% of mothers do not know sign language if their child signs, and 90% of fathers cannot sign.
A place to play and laugh, and most of all, be understood.
Now, these type of playgrounds come in all shapes and sizes, but typically they focus on designs that help with balance or sensory needs. For example, when building a slide, designers need to take into account those sensory implants. Communication walls also come in handy by providing video. Meanwhile, a young girl in North Texas is getting a lot of attention after opening her own business at just 11 years old. Luby Zapata introduces us to her.
This boba spot in Arlington is run by an 11-year-old named Olivia. It's the only place in North Texas where you can get bubble tea and chicken.
Excuse me, Loopy?
Yes, Olivia?
This is the only place in Texas where you can get self-serve bubble tea.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Welcome to Rocket Valley.
Oh, thank you.
I want to be an actor, a singer, an artist when I grow up. There's a lot of things I want to be when I grow up, and I can't choose. Might as well do all of this.
At 11 years old, Olivia's never heard she couldn't do something.
Very optimistic. Like, there is no is not in her vocabulary.
When she was 4, she told her parents she wanted to be in movies. So you might recognize her face in statewide commercials. And after years of collecting all that acting money, she told her parents she wanted to open a self-serve bubble tea shop. And they followed her lead.
Welcome to Rocket Belly!
Rocket Belly is straight out of Olivia's imagination. Her love for astronomy and cats can be seen in the decorating.
I really like space. It's very extraordinary. We're supposed to be inside a spaceship. This is the outer space right here, the restroom.
The restroom.
Planets and everything, and then the stars.
Olivia wanted her boba shop to be different by letting people sample the more than 10 different tea selections.
Welcome to Rocket Belly. Is it your first time?
No, we've been.
Okay, welcome back.
And for repeat customers like Serenity, getting to sample is what makes the experience out of this world.
Oh, that's good.
Rocket Belly Boba Shop in Texas.
The fact that she allows us to taste them before we even get it, I love that. I actually had an interaction with that before. I got a boba drink and it wasn't the best taste, but they won't let you trade it out. It's good that you get it taste tested beforehand, you know?
Olivia has big plans for this boba shop and her future. She says with the support from her family, she'll someday be in blockbuster movies. I asked her if she had advice for anyone wanting to follow their dreams. She directed me to her favorite quote on the wall.
Per aspera ad astra, through hardship to the stars. If you fall down and fail, you get back up again. Don't stop what you want to do.
And up next, we have some guests in studio to talk about a toolkit helping kids when mom and dad are away. Stay with us.
We are heading into the weekend with more triple-digit heat across most of Texas. A few exceptions will be the Panhandle, some 80s and 90s. There are parts of far west Texas like Marfa, Alpine, and along our Texas coast, some upper 90s. But when you factor in the humidity, it will feel as high as 110 along and east of that 35 corridor, pretty much 35 to the coast. So please plan those outdoor activities accordingly. More news and weather coming up.
The strength of Texas is in its many voices and unique perspectives. Every Sunday, join host Carla Leal on In Focus Texas. Education, economy, immigration, and more. Balanced and respectful discussion of the serious matters impacting Texas from experts across the state.
We take a closer look at the issues in
Texas, Sunday mornings at 9:30 on Spectrum News 1, available on all your favorite devices.
So you're telling me this one-size-fits-all network upgrade is the best you guys can do?
Better than that. It's the only thing we do.
That's how we know it's right for you.
Aye.
Is that what I said?
No, I think you were okay. I think that's a yes.
We get it. Ask for the technology you need, and they call you unreasonable. We call you something else, our kind of client. So go ahead, be unreasonable.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me,
About the dangers of underage drinking can make a big difference in a child's life.
Today at Zilker Park, where folks from across the state of Texas are coming together for this.
At Spectrum News, we're committed to our communities around the clock, delivering stories that inspire and news that matters in your community. Our journalists are dedicated to bringing you trusted, balanced, local news every day. And now, Spectrum Internet-only customers, you can watch Spectrum News 1 on your TV, connecting you to your community 24/7. Spectrum News, now streaming, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Well, the summer travel season is in full swing and millions of Americans are expected to head overseas. In fact, the U.S. is on track to break its all-time record for passports issued, but that could affect how fast you get yours. Here's Emily Pounds with more.
Travelers are facing immense challenges getting their passports, and the U.S. State Department is saying if you're trying to obtain or renew, get in the 6-month waiting line.
It's going to take you a while to get your passport. I've been waiting since November.
Nadia Martinez, a hopeful traveler, applied for her passport last year. With her trip scheduled for July 7th from DFW to Mexico, she received for her departure.
I know people who had trips the day of and they just walked away because they couldn't get in.
Martinez joins countless individuals in Texas and across the U.S. encountering passport delays, jeopardizing their plans and causing severe stress and uncertainty.
A lot of people can't get in unless you have an appointment, which is hard to get an appointment, or you had to have a life or death situation.
The U.S. State Department released a statement saying delays are due to the lingering pandemic-related staffing shortages and a pause of online processing this year. Naisha Perez and her mother are of the exception, headed on a flight to the Dominican Republic to lay to rest her grandmother. However, they couldn't get on.
We had a flight this morning at 5 and my mom's passport expires in October, and they told her that the 6-month rule that she wasn't allowed to fly.
Due to the urgency of their situation, the State Department allowed them to renew their passports without appointment and catch a flight later that night.
We waited for hours and hours and hours, and they were just really rude, and they wouldn't answer questions. They would yell at us. It was just really overwhelming and stressful.
As backlogs persist, the State Department doesn't offer a hopeful outlook for a quick fix. A spokesperson telling CNN, "We are working hard to get back to our pre-pandemic processing times by the end of the calendar year 2023. And local travelers in Texas have some advice.
I would say just have a lot of patience also, because at first I thought that it wasn't gonna work out for us, but we just stayed and we waited and it finally did.
Well, more than 80% of adults are planning to travel this year, but it can be pretty tough when you have to leave your kids behind. Here with us today is Melissa Brown, creator of Lou Comes to You. It's a new children's product designed to maintain a connection. What's the inspiration behind your kit here?
Yes, thank you. So you're right, this is the inspiration. I have a day job that requires me to travel quite a bit, and whenever my suitcase would come out, their emotions and tears would come in. And I would go to the airport and I would start crying, and I thought surely there's a product that can help fix this, this need, and there wasn't. So my husband and I got together and we decided we wanted a product that would help ease those emotions, but also provide some educational components and let the kid have fun while the parents are gone.
And you get to stuff candy into the kangaroo.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
So Cece, what do you think about it?
Well, I always get sad when my parents need to travel, but when Lou comes out, it makes me feel much better.
That's great. Yeah, and you can tell it does. So kind of what are the things we got in here?
Yeah, so the kit is, it has a couple different components. This is the main guy that usually the kids are loving. This is the plushie Lou.
I call it a rabbit, but it's a kangaroo.
It's a kangaroo with a pouch where you can, like you said, stuff candy or notes and whatever. The storybook walks the kids through all the components of the book and kind of validates their emotions while it teaches them how to use the kit. And then there's a double-sided map of the world and of North America to have the kids track where the parents are going. And then just to provide some structure around how long you're gone, there's a calendar that can count down the days till you return.
Then it's cool, so the child is always really in contact with you guys, even if it's from afar.
Yeah.
You can count off the days and that kind of thing, right?
We're trying to really encourage, getting staying connected and having that, mindfulness in a product.
Yeah, and we're kind of joking. I wish we had this when I was a kid because your parents would travel and there's some tears, but they're coming back.
Right.
But this, so you probably lived that scenario as well before you came up with this.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, my dad was on the road quite a bit, and I felt those emotions too. So this goes back to when I was a child and the need for it. Plushie, he only comes when the parents leave, and then when parents come home, Lou gets hidden away.
Great. Now tell us a little bit about the website. You can find more information about this and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, so we are selling direct to customers on our website, loucomestoyou.com. And then we're also on social media, Facebook, Instagram. We'd love for you to tag us whenever you use Lou to share what's in your pouch.
And talk a little bit about the age range. Is this for little kids? Who can benefit from this?
Yeah, so It's intended for anyone 3 and over. You know, initially we thought this would be great for the younger kids, but now we're hearing and finding that the older kids really like all the components and they're getting it on the fun. So really just 3+ is fair game for the product.
All right, love it. Thank you so much for being with
Thanks
us.
for having
Cece.
us.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Todd Boatwright. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
The decisions elected officials make really have an impact on all of us. A big part of what we do on Capitol Tonight is break down the issues so that they're easily understood. We want to bring you a better understanding of local issues and the local impact of national issues with relevant, in-depth conversations that provide context for Texans in a balanced and informative way. Capitol Tonight, weeknights at
They say the best things in life are free.
That's why Spectrum Mobile is giving you 1 free mobile line when you buy 1 unlimited line for $29.99.
Hey, so I can get 2 lines for the price of 1? That's right, for just $29.99.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $29.99 a month and get a second unlimited line free for 12 months with no contracts. Call 1-844-537-2999. Visit spectrum.com/getconnected or Spectrum store today.
It's the best deal in mobile.
Free mobile sounds good, but is the service reliable?
Absolutely. Spectrum Mobile is super reliable, coast to coast.
Okay, but what's the catch?
Is it contracts?
No contracts, no catch.
Get 1 line for $29.99 and the second line is free.
All with no taxes or hidden fees.
Whew. Man, I'm switching to Spectrum. You said?
Switch to Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $29.99 a month and get a second unlimited line free for True.
The family's visit to the forest inspired